Fantasy playoffs are right around the corner. So now more than ever, every decision we make needs to be the right one. And it starts with your week 10 waivers. Let's get into it. Let's kick it off here with a guy that's only owned in 1% of your league in Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, a guy that has had 4 straight games with a touchdown, and he's getting 4 to 5 targets a game, whether if it's Will Levis as his quarterback or Mason Rudolph. Now, it looks like Rudolph's going to be the guy going forward, but Westbrook-Ikhine has been consistent, and that's the trend of today's video. We want to know what we're getting out of these pickups this late into the season, especially when we need to make those tough decisions in those fantasy playoffs. But Westbrook-Ikhine needs to be on your roster. Xavier Legette, last week, 4 receptions on 6 targets, 30 plus yards through the air, and a touchdown. Now, again, not crazy numbers, but it's over double digits. Again, he's been consistent the last couple of weeks, and Bryce Young, with this newfound confidence after his benching, is decent. All of a sudden, Xavier Legette, with his big play ability, needs to be on your roster. At the running back position, there's only one man, unless you want to talk about Emari DeMercado or Emmanuel Wilson. It's Ray Davis, a guy that last week, 90 total yards, averaging, again, 15 yards a touch. So, incredible production. I know he had that big screen play, but James Cook has been inconsistent the last couple of weeks since his injury. So, Ray Davis, who knows? This could be a sleeper. The last one, I want to really join everything here. If you desperately need a win next week and you have a couple people on bye, this is a team that I want you to look at, is the New York Giants. I know that's not flashy. It's not the sexy pick, but they are a team that's playing the Carolina Panthers next week. Now, based on the data, the Giants have a favorable matchup across the board for fantasy players. For the Giants defense, it's the number 1 matchup. For Theo Johnson, if you need a deep sleeper tight end, it's a top 7 matchup for the tight end position. And for Daniel Jones, it's the number 1 matchup as well. But let's get into a recap here. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that I didn't talk about. He's owned in just about 50% of your leagues. It's behind my face cam, but he's owned in just about 50%. So he may or may not be there, but again, he's a little bit more trustworthy than Daniel Jones. We talked about Jones, Ray Davis as well. Jerry Jeudy we've talked about for weeks. 11 targets last week for Jerry Jeudy despite the terrible offensive performance. That volume is key, and that's what we want to see on our roster. NWI, we talked about him as well. Legette, same thing. Hunter Henry. Look, if Drake May's the quarterback, Henry needs to be starting in your fantasy lineups unless you have an elite option. That's how much production he's getting. Gesicki, big week last week. Does it continue? Well, again, he's had 2 decent weeks in a row. We'll have to, I guess, your judgment on that one. Taysom Hill, every fantasy player's worst nightmare, especially if you have a player on that Saints offense. But I put him on today's video because Chris Olave might be out next week. Who knows? They might even shut him down for a while. But Taysom Hill needs to be on your roster because he's the only guy outside of Kamara that can do productive things with the football. The Atlanta defense. Look, the Atlanta defense this week has the New Orleans Saints on their schedule. They had I think they had 18 points in the first matchup. So just something to look out for as, again, New Orleans, they're struggling on offense. But that's going to do it here for today's video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 18,000 and we're right there. We can't get there without you guys, of course. But I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys tomorrow.